Welcome back to the PigSkin podcast. This is season 2, episode 2. Again, this is Dalton, back with my buddy Sebastian. And we're just going to do a quick little recap of the NFL preseason as a whole, college football week 0, and then probably going to talk and look ahead to week 1 of college football and just all NFL news as to what we have so far. So kick it off, man. It's been a couple weeks. How you been doing?
I'm good. We did have college football. We can officially say that it's back. It's always tough with week 0 because it never feels like it's back. Because last year in the double game is Notre Dame and Navy, and it was just like a blowout. But this one, we actually had a really good game. So I know we're going to talk about it here in just a second, but I'm excited. I got one thing about week 0 that I got to say.
What's up?
I wish there was more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, some of the games were good. No, okay, maybe not this time, but like in the future, like, you schedule like Florida State versus Georgia, Florida State versus Georgia Tech. That was a fantastic game, and then like we had a few games that were like really, really good, so it felt like a good week 0 of college football. But I remember last year watching it, I was like, could there not have been more games to go off of?
Yeah, I was definitely last year. Like this year was great. Last year, I wasn't underwhelmed. I was kind of just whelmed. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't too great.
Because it was Notre Dame just beating the fuck out of Navy and us overreacting and thinking that Notre Dame was going to be legit.
Yeah. Especially when they beat USC.
Yeah,
but
that was fun.
That was very fun. That was fun. That was fun. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to kick it off just talking about week 0. Obviously, you mentioned it, Florida State, Georgia Tech. Hell of a game. Georgia Tech just controlled the line of scrimmage. Everyone all offseason and the preseason leading up, everyone had been talking about how great Florida State's defensive line was supposed to be and supposed to be the best in the ACC and one of the best in the country. And
Georgia Tech, beat them head to toe, like on the offensive line. I mean, going up against what you said was, supposed to be the best defensive line in college football. I mean, it wasn't even close. They got in the backfield a few times, but impressive, honestly, from Georgia Tech.
Well, that's what happens when you have an offensive line coach as your head coach. So when you get a football guy out there, crazy. Also, I do think this is hilarious. Florida State is the first team in ACC history to hold sole possession of 17th place.
Yep, I saw that. Yep.
God, I fucking hate Florida State. I always have, man. I've never been a big Florida State guy. They've always just annoyed the hell out of me.
I've never been a big Florida State guy, but that they've had some years where like their team's really good. It's just like fun when like a team like Florida State is good at college football. Like whenever they have a good team, it just makes college football more fun.
It's kind of the same like with Nebraska. When Nebraska's good or Miami's good, it makes the sport better.
Yeah, when they were good in 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were alive then.
Yeah, no, we were definitely alive then. Yep. We were definitely alive then. Well, they had a couple years and like the Ndamukong Suh years and the Taylor Martinez years, early 2000s.
Yeah.
But always came up short against OU, except for like once, and it still haunts me. But anyways, it was a fantastic game. I mean, Georgia Tech could do everything. They definitely had the better quarterback, though. Haynes King, 11 out of 10 times. Now, DJ Uyunglele threw the ball technically for more yards, but Haynes King outplayed him, though.
Yeah. I mean, when you watch the game, eye test. I mean, that's just kind of what I go by. I mean, stats are important, but like eye test, watching him, he ran the ball better. He was more efficient. Couple really nice throws that were incomplete because the wide receiver stopped.
Yeah.
Like on that deep touchdown run. But you're right. Haynes King, he was awesome. That defense was awesome, and Georgia Tech is the best team in the country. Currently.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, they are. They're the number 1 team in the country right now.
Yeah.
So
we're not overreacting.
Not at all. That Jamal Haynes kid, though, is fucking nasty.
Yeah. No, a lot of their players were. I mean, they played good. That was a fantastic game. For it to go down the way that it did, center, mistimes the snap, looks terrible. They get the yardage back, and they have to rely on the kicker who missed a field goal earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Just to get a game-winning field goal that was sick. And now Florida State controls their own destiny, but I mean, do they really?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they win out, they'll win the ACC. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in them now. Unless they unless they go to like Brooklyn.
The thing is, DJU doesn't elevate a football team. Haynes King went in there and elevated his football team to win that game, right? Yeah. DJ can't do that. He's just been incredibly mid everywhere he's been, and he can't take that team to the next level. While he may play well, he can't do it. Like, what was that stat? At one point, he had 11 completions, and his air yards was negative 0.1.
That's all behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's not – he can't push the ball down the field, and he doesn't have any other athletic qualities to use in lieu of that. You know what I mean?
He reminds me a lot of Carson Wentz. You remember that year that Carson Wentz had where it was like MVP and he was like definitely the best player in the NFL? And it was like –
he blew his knee out.
Well, yeah, and then exactly, like you watch now, and when Carson Wentz goes to a new team, you're like, oh, yeah, you know, this is the team where he's going to get right. Like, if you're a sports bettor, like you have that envision in your head, like, oh, yeah, 2017 Super Bowl, he was going to win MVP. It's the same thing with DJ. That Notre Dame game during the COVID year, you watch that game and you're like, yeah, this kid's it. He's legit. And then he hasn't been able to replicate it since.
Yeah.
I almost bet on Florida State, but I was like, I gotta calm down. Because I know, I had a feeling it's like Georgia Tech feels like that if they had a better defense and you know, because you look at their efficiency on offense last year, and it's like they can just have just a little bit better of a defense, and if their offensive line can control the game, they're clearly going to be the better team on the field, considering it, you know, all the players that Florida State lost, and because they have DJ. But like that kind of creeps in the back of your head, like, well, what if he just does it? What if he just has a 2020 COVID year against Notre Dame game?
And that's the thing, is he's so talented. There's going to be those games where he just pops, and you're like, okay.
Well, even the game before that one? The game that he played because Trevor Lawrence got hurt. He had 2 games. He had a 2-game stretch where it was like, this kid is like, you know,
Clemson Trevor got hurt, or was it Trevor had COVID?
Did he get COVID? Is that why he was out for like he was out.
Yeah.
Okay.
He missed 2 games with COVID.
Yeah. So that's what happened, but it was like, yep, Clemson strikes again. They get another like stud quarterback, and then just hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have left Oregon State. I thought he was fine there with what they wanted to do.
He wouldn't have been able to carry that team though at all. Like with everything they lost after their coach left, he wouldn't have been able to carry them. I will say though, did you see the thing that was kind of floating around on Twitter where it was showing his high school ranking and him being ranked one ahead of CJ Stroud?
Yeah.
And it's like this guy's on his 3rd team and is failing to win games, and CJ Stroud's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Like, yeah, it's crazy, man.
Well, he was good in high school. I mean,
he's very good. He also, second on Bosco, like he was a great quarterback in high school.
Yeah.
Just doesn't translate. He was a different level athlete in high school, and now he's more on a similar playing field with other people, but it's just not the same. Kind of like the whole Spencer Rattler thing. Well, he is tearing it up, kind of the Saints. He's playing well. Let's see. Moving on, the game right after that.
Well, actually, I was gonna ask you.
Okay.
Like, is America like? Are we failing like at being able to make stadiums? Because I mean, you look at all the European soccer stadiums in the world, and they're just that Dublin stadium's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. It's insane.
Yeah, like I can see now why they want to do more international games. Like that'd be cool to have like a game in like Brazil or something. But yeah, we need to build like a badass stadium, like just a badass like soccer looking stadium that you could just play like a big college football game in.
I think part of it is especially with college football, and then some of like the Bears and the Packers. Like, there's so much prestige behind these places.
Yeah.
You don't want to tear them down. You know what I mean?
Well, Chicago's building a new stadium, so.
Chicago is building a new stadium. I don't think Green Bay will ever get rid of Lambeau.
No.
I do actually want to mention this. How awesome is it that the American football game over there in Dublin, on the pitch, is won on a field goal? It's pretty sick, man.
Yeah.
We're just paying homage, dude. No, we do need some, like, there's some badass stadiums. I think we do cool shit, like with like Mercedes-Benz Stadium and how it opens, you know, and There's some pretty sick baseball stadiums and stuff like that, but European soccer is different.
Yeah, no, I mean that stadium is like it was sick. When was the last time we built a badass a SoFi stadium is sick. Like that's a badass stadium.
Yeah, but I feel like we just make those with like super cool amenities. Like we don't make them like insane. Like it's cool, but it's just a modern like all glass stadium. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like SoFi's. That one's sick.
It's cool. It's cool. I'm really
Also
interested to see the Browns.
Yeah.
It was good.
I thought it was pretty cool that they were letting the broadcast crew like drink Guinness. Let them get hammered. Fuck it.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
It makes it more exciting. Like maybe the calls like
Bob Menery style.
Yeah, just let them get hammered. Pat McAfee got hammered after the game. He
got hammered before as well. Like the night before, he was blitzed. Dude.
No, a lot of people were kind of pissed off about that, and I was like, I stand with McAfee.
Because the fuck is college football?
Yeah.
What's better than watching college football?
You're going to like literally the drinking capital of the world, and you're not going to drink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So. It's like asking me to go get not a beer out of my fridge at 9 a.m., dude. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not alcoholics.
No, not at all, dude.
Yeah, no, if I wasn't, that'd be sick to go to the Dublin game. I'd be down to go to that one day.
That'd be dope. That would be dope. You got anything more on that game though?
No.
What do you think happens in Florida State season?
Let's take a look at their schedule. Like, let's see it kind of depends on how like Clemson's gonna do as well.
Because they have Boston College on Monday.
Yeah. I mean, their schedule. I mean, I think Miami's gonna be good this year, so I'm gonna go ahead and count that as a loss because it's in Miami. I'm gonna count a loss to Duke as well. I don't think Duke's gonna drop off too much. I mean, they're not gonna be as good as last year. I don't know.
I don't know about that one. Yeah. Oh. They go to Miami. They go to Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, and they play Florida at the end of the season.
And they have Clemson coming to Tallahassee.
They control their own destiny, I guess. I got them losing 2 more games.
Yeah, for sure. They'll lose 2 more between.
Well, and the ACC
they might lose
is
this weekend to Boston College.
Honestly, the ACC is very interesting to me because it's just like quarterback transfer central, like Haynes King at Texas A&M, at Georgia Tech, Cam Ward at Miami. You know, like there's just a bunch of transfer quarterbacks that are, and it's going to be a fun conference. It's them like the Big 12 and the ACC. Obviously, they're kind of like seen like in a lower tier compared to like the 2 new super conferences in the SEC and Big 10, but they're still going to be wildly entertaining. Like. If you care about college football and not just like the big brand, like the Big 12 and the ACC are going to be fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, they're going to be the most entertaining. Maction is insane, and if you don't watch Maction, you're a pussy. But Big 12 and SEC or ACC ball are going to be like those are going to be the great games to watch. Like if your team's already played and you're waiting on like the nightcap or something like that. Games. Yeah, all going to be super competitive.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited.
I am too. Moving on. New Mexico welcomed Montana State into Albuquerque. And they were winning for quite a while until Montana State put up 21 unanswered.
Yeah.
Yeah. 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter. They were up 31-14 and just smoked it, dude.
You know, I had no idea that Diego Pavia wasn't the quarterback there anymore. I thought he was at New Mexico State, I think.
Yeah, he was at New Mexico State.
Yeah. When I was watching the game, I was like, this isn't Diego Pavia. And I realized, like, wrong team. I don't even think he's at New Mexico State.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I don't think he is.
I don't know. I just used to watch the New Mexico State games, and I was like, this kid rocks.
He's at Vanderbilt, dude.
Yeah, he's going to elevate that program.
He's going to turn Vanderbilt into a powerhouse. They're going to beat Texas.
Shout out Nate Bargazzi.
Yeah, dude.
But, yeah, I mean, it just shut out Montana State, I guess. I watched the game for a little while, and then whenever they started coming back, they scored. It was the last drive, and they were down by 1 touchdown. They were down 7, or I think it was like 6 or something like that. And I turned it back on their final drive, and it was like, what happened?
Yeah. No, it was insane. I didn't get to watch the end of it. I did see the white dude with the 94-yard run, though. That was pretty sick.
Yeah. White guys can still ball.
Yes, we can. Not me. I can't. But these guys can. No, it's incredibly. It's the art of the paid game, dude. It happens to somebody every year. Might happen to Colorado in a couple days.
Yeah.
And I sincerely hope it does.
You hate Colorado?
I'm over it. I don't hate Colorado. I don't hate Dion. I'm tired of the media blowing shit up their ass. I'm ready for everyone to shut the hell up. They went 4-8 last year. I mean, it's very good for us. But
come on, man.
It's just gonna be so funny to watch people hype them up after they act like they didn't go 4-8 last year.
Well, that's the best thing about college football, though, is the overreactions.
That is the best thing about college football. It happened with Texas. We watched it happen with Texas for 13 years straight?
Yeah.
And now they're good again.
Is Texas back?
No.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Ever since Sam Ehlinger, just don't let him say it. It definitely won't happen. Yeah, no, that was a fantastic game. I wish I could have watched the whole thing. I shouldn't have left. The game that I did keep my eye on a lot, and it kind of concerns me because I was hoping a little bit more for these guys this year. The Mustangs of SMU barely edged one out past Nevada. You know what pisses me off? I just want to cut this in real quick. I had my entire parlay put together. I took Georgia Tech to win outright. I had Montana State to cover and Nevada to cover. And then my shit crashed, dude.
I think our stream just crashed.
Did it? No, it's still recording.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of lagged out on my end.
Yeah, it froze for a second. Yeah, so a couple seconds. So it pisses me off. I had an entire fucking parlay put together. I had Georgia Tech outright, I had Montana State outright, and I had Nevada covering. And then as I was going to place the bet, because I was out doing shit all morning, I was going to place the bet at like 10:55. My app crashed, and I couldn't get logged back in and get it placed in time.
Luck of the draw.
Paid me shit. It paid me like $6, but still, dude. It's at least another
Did
beer.
you put like 2 cents on there?
Yeah, that's exactly what I put on there. I had $3 left in my Bovado account. Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, times are rough, right? No, but
didn't look great for SMU.
It didn't. That offensive line looks, I think, like what people expect OU's to look like this year. It was not good.
Yeah.
It was not good.
It's like throwing raw meat down a fucking the garbage disposal.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. I mean,
it's gonna stink.
I mean, they had Nate Anderson, a backup center for OU, playing, I think, tackle.
Well, they got to get there. I mean, they've got some, rebuilding they got to do. Lost a lot of players last year, so
they did. I mean, it's not Preston Stone, who is probably the only reason they won that game.
Stud.
He is a fucking stud. He's good.
That I mean, their offensive line was cheeks, dude.
It was bad.
That was really bad. The fact that they came back and won, I mean, that was just kind of like,
it's a hell of a final drive.
You basically just like wipe the sweat off your forehead and get back into practice. I mean, you got a tough schedule coming up. You're in the ACC now. I mean, not that the ACC is great, but the competition, like the quality of the competition, is just going to continue to get better.
I mean, they got Houston Christian this week, so should shore shit up there and get some confidence going. But they flip around and play BYU. BYU's not a terrible football team.
Good coach.
Good coach. And they're very fundamentally and religiously sound. And then they flip around to yet another team in TCU.
Yeah,
Sonny Dykes and the boys. And then they come off of that and they play Florida State in Dallas.
Yeah. Rhett Lashley, I trust him. He's a good coach.
Oh,
again, they've got to fix their offensive line. There's some issues there, but until they've really established themselves in the new, conference and a new power conference, it's going to take a while for them to get that team going.
Oh, 100%.
But they got some quarterback issues they got to figure out once Preston Stone's gone.
Yeah, they'll figure that out. They got enough money down there at SMU. They could pay somebody to come down there and play quarterback for them.
Yeah.
Did you stay up and watch Hawaii? in Delaware
No.
State? No? Yeah, I was passed the fuck out. I was dead tired, dude.
I wish I would have stayed up for it though.
Yeah, those games are fun. First or kickoff was at 10:59 Central Time.
Yeah.
Crazy. But Hawaii did get the dub against Delaware State. Pretty rough to make the boys from Delaware fly all the way to fucking Honolulu, Hawaii, but they got paid enough money to go out there and lose.
That's
so
across the fucking globe.
that's a tough flight, dude.
Yeah,
that's a tough flight.
That is tough. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I'm going back to the Dublin game like that. How shitty does it have to be to like be the losing team when you're like all the way across the country, and like if you were trying to like bar hop, you see the fans of like the opposing team that won. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'd just be like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I want to go home.
Oh,
Drown my sorrows. I'll drink, eat ice cream at the house.
yeah. I'll just drink all the beers I can at 50,000 feet. Let them hit me quick, dude.
Yeah.
Put me out of my misery. But I mean, not that anyone expected Delaware State to win that game, but I'm sure they got paid a pretty penny to go in there. So, I mean, that was really all that was week one of college football. We had some FCS games. Obviously, we had the FCS kickoff between Southeast Missouri State and North Alabama. Didn't really watch that. The Florida A&M Norfolk State was crazy. That one came down right to the wire. Also didn't really watch that. We did get some former OU players though. The McNeese Tarleton State game. Mikey Henderson plays, I think, at McNeese.
Yep.
Don't know. He did shit. Didn't watch that either. I was too busy losing in my fucking dynasty. But anyways, overall, a fun week 0 for college football. Do kind of like you said, wish there was a little bit more. I feel like we could get maybe a couple other good games. You know, maybe move like that Monday night Labor Day game to Saturday. Yeah, it's
like a little appetizer, you know. If you're a college football junkie, like you want the full drug, but you know, week 0, you know, you kind of take a couple puffs, you know.
It's a nice layup. It's a nice layup to get the season started.
It's like, hey, you want to take a couple hits, and then, you know, next week we'll just go all in.
Yeah, next week it's like shrooms laced with fentanyl. Like you're fully nose first, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yep.
You any other thoughts from week 0 though?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah. Any other thoughts moving ahead? Are you ready for this week? I mean, obviously you're ready for it. But...
Yeah. I got some thoughts.
Some thoughts?
Can we just win the game?
Yeah. What would a successful, obviously a win is what's wanted, but Temple coming to town, OU is a 42.5-point favorite. Temple back-to-back 3-9 seasons, an entirely new team through the transfer portal. Like what is a successful game to you outside of just a win?
Jackson Arnold throwing for 400 yards and Deion Burks having 200 of them.
Yeah. I mean, that would be
that's kind of
sick.
just what I'm most excited about. A lot of people are excited about like what everything's going to look like, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I really hope that Jackson Arnold is just the guy. Like
I think he will be. I
mean, most people probably have like a, you know, like very like it's a generic answer for me. Like, yeah, I just want to see Jackson Arnold like be that fucking guy. But it's true. I mean, like I'd be lying if I said, oh yeah, I want to see how Kenai Walker does. It's like the defense as a whole is gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
People are like, well, I'm more interested in seeing how the offensive line's gonna play. And it's like, no, you want to see how fucking good your quarterback is.
Yeah. That's the exact thing. I mean, this game is nothing more than him to get live snaps and live reps. That's exactly what you want. You want positive plays and live snaps and good reps.
And I'm so excited of Deion Burks.
Yeah, me too. I just want everyone to get in the game. I want Jackson to feel comfortable, and then I want to leave just as healthy as we went in. That's all I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, if the defense allows a yard, I might shit my pants. So,
wow.
Yeah. Look, I've been this excited about a defense in quite a while. So, other big games going on Thursday night to really, really, truly kick things off at 7. We have North Dakota State rolling into Boulder to take on Dion and the boys. You'd probably have to talk me out of North Dakota State not winning this game.
I think Colorado wins it.
You're a pussy.
No, I mean, I think they do. I think they're going to be a better football team, but they started out hot last season. I think it's going to be the same thing. They're going to start out hot, and then they got some tough games. You know, they're in the Big 12 now. All right, some guys are going to lower the shoulder, and they're going to take a punch. But I think
do they play Kansas State? Because if they do, they might be fucked.
Yeah, they're done for.
They do.
Avery Johnson, probably the guy.
I would think so. I think that's the most fun time, it's the most fun part about college football. The overreactions in September are the best.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
And so the two teams that we mentioned, so Oklahoma and Kansas State, all right, they both let their quarterbacks. They basically said, "Hey, we've got this guy. We're going to roll with him." Oklahoma chose Jackson Arnold and basically said, "Hey, this is our guy." Dylan Gabriel goes to Oregon. Now they're kind of one of the favorites to win their conference and compete for a national title. Kansas State said, "Hey, Avery Johnson, this is our guy. Sorry, Will Howard, but we're going to roll with him." Now he goes to Ohio State. Ohio State's probably the best roster in college football and are probably favored to win the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find a way to word this. I guess I kind of believe in Ohio State. I believe more in Oregon. So I think Oregon got the better end of the deal with getting Dylan Gabriel because they're going to use him in the way that it's going to fit him. Like that offense is going to fit him. But do we believe in Ohio State winning a national championship with Will Howard?
I want to say, is your question, do I believe in Ohio State, or is your question, do I believe in Will Howard? Because I believe in Dylan Gabriel, and I believe in Dan Lanning, and I believe in Oregon. I also believe in Ryan Day, and I believe in Ohio State in that defense.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think Oregon made out better than Ohio State did.
Is it do we believe in Will Howard? Was it okay, the talent that he had at Kansas State probably, inhibited him from being able to show his full potential, and now he's going to have fucking Jeremiah Smith, what's his name, Emeka? Emeka Ibuka, and fucking Quinshon Judkins and Henderson.
And Travion Henderson's still there.
Yeah.
And any tight end that they have. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be better at Ohio State, but I don't think he's as much of a difference maker as even Dylan Gabriel is. I think Dylan Gabriel is much more cerebral when it comes to the game of football. I mean, just look at that final drive against Texas last year. He had to make a play in every different way. He had to stay back in the pocket. He had to scramble and find open space. He had to run for first downs. He had to throw across the field. He did literally everything. Will Howard does have similar abilities, but I don't think he's as talented or as fundamentally sound as Dylan Gabriel is.
Do you think that Kansas State made the right decision to go with Avery Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, he's more athletic. I mean, he's just got a higher
He's definitely more athletic, but I think, and you can say the same for OU, if it doesn't work out, I still think it's the right decision because you can't keep holding on to something.
So this is kind of this is like a scientific test,
pretty much. I mean, Green Bay did the same thing last year.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to find out what you have.
Yeah.
I think Avery Johnson's a hell of a quarterback, and I think he's a hell of a football player for one, and I think he's going to do just fine. And same thing with OU and Jackson Arnold. I think you're going to take some on the chin no matter what team you are. It's the first time that they've been the quarterback of a premier football team in college football. Yes, I did say Kansas State's a premier football team. They're a premier brand, especially in Big 12 country.
Thanks to Bill Snyder and what he's done.
Yes, because if Bill Snyder wouldn't have came along, Kansas State would have been Kansas. So
yeah,
but probably worse.
Well, we can't even say that anymore because look at what Lance Leipold's done with Kansas.
Fucking love Lance Leipold in Kansas, dude. Even Jason Bean has played well in the preseason. We'll get to that. But anyways, like I said, I think you have to see what you have. You have to test the waters and see. And you're going to take some on the chin, though. Like, there's going to be some moments where you look at Jackson, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's going to be the same thing with
interceptions.
Avery.
I want him to take shots.
I don't either. Yeah, that's exactly what he's there to do. He's got the big arm. He's got all the talent in the world. He's got the legs. His job is to make this offense be as deadly as possible. And there's going to be some mistakes along the way, but it's only going to build more success for him.
Yeah.
I hope, but I think so.
We'll see, because Ohio State, I mean, it is kind of funny because a lot of people, like, they have them as, like, one of the top teams in the country, but people are still questioning, like, okay, can they win a national title with the quarterback that they currently have? Oh. They cast aside Kyle McCord. They were like, hey, you're not good enough to play here, considering what we've had in the past. So we're going to go get Will Howard, who's not even good enough to play at Kansas State.
Exactly. And
so
I think
it's
one of those things.
Kind of the questions that we have. Like,
speaking of which, I do think Kyle McCord is going to do well at Syracuse.
We'll see.
I do think he will be. I think he'll just fine.
There are times I watch the game and I'm like, does he like know what he's doing?
I will ask you this. So with Kyle McCord, is this kind of like a similar thing where you watch, say, 2021 Spencer Rattler or who else?
Rattler wasn't even that great at South Carolina. Like, I mean, he made some good plays and he made some good throws that showed his talent, but there's times where you're watching, you're like his brain, it's in a blender.
Is it one of the? Yeah, no, literally. Is it one of those things where you look at these highly touted guys, like the Kyle McCords, the Spencer Rattlers, the I don't even know who else, any plethora of guys that have been Trey Lance in the NFL that have had all this hype and all this talent and everything surrounding them, and they're just not chalked up to what they're supposed to be or made out to be. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you think they need more time to develop, but at the end of the day, you can only be given so much time to grow, right? And so I don't even know where I was going with this. Watching Kyle McCord last year, you could see it, but he just could never put it together.
Yeah,
so
no, I
think it's one of those things that like ever comes together.
No.
Or is he just
you're right. You're absolutely right.
DJ is another one.
You can see it. You can see that it's not going to work.
Yeah. No, DJU is another one. I mean, we were just talking about it. Like, it's clearly all of the tools are there in place. And for whatever reason it is, it seems like it can be a different factor each and every week. It's just never going to come together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just what I believe. Yeah.
I mean, Malachi Nelson's going to be the same way at Boise State. He can get the starting job.
That's a crazy story, by the way. That is absolutely insane.
His fall off just so quick. So let's get into the Saturday games. Move on. So Saturday morning, 11 a.m. we kick off with Penn State, West Virginia, in Morgantown. We got the golden flashes of Kent State taking on Pittsburgh. All right, let's pump them up a little bit. But the real one's going to be Clemson, Georgia, in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Number 1, Georgia. Number 14, Clemson. Georgia's a 13.5-point favorite. Does that feel pretty right to you?
Yeah. I think it's another situation where, like, you Dabo, like, I get it. Like, I know what he's trying to do with this program. Like, you know, it's him. Like, what, Clemson was at the bottom when it came to the transfer portal, right?
Yeah. Well, they've taken – the only teams that have taken less transfers than Clemson is Army, Navy, and Air Force.
The naval academies, yeah. Like military academies. Yep. Also, I just don't know if Cade Klubnik is it. Like, it's another guy that's shown flashes, but can he put it all together?
Yeah. Talk about Clemson missing on back-to-back big guys. Potentially, if Cade doesn't turn out.
Well, I actually am not, like, sold on him being like I'm not done, like, believing in Cade Klubnik, because I have actually seen more from him than I had, like, Kyle McCord. Mm-hmm. But, like, well, again, it's like another, like you put it in the test tube. Like, what is the correct way to build a team in college football now with the transfer portal and NIL? Like, do you take, should you do? It's like Ole Miss and Clemson. Like, Ole Miss, nothing but transfers. Clemson, no transfers at all. Like, what is that going to look like? I think Georgia, like, even though they lost a bunch of guys, and Kirby Smart said we probably aren't where we want to be, or we don't have guys that like maybe aren't ready as opposed to some of our previous teams. But I mean, good God, you look at how he's recruited for the past 10 years. Like, I think Georgia's gonna be just fine. I think that's a pretty realistic metric. 10.5 is what they're favored.
Yeah. Or 13.5.
13.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems right.
I do think, like with Clemson and Dabo's method in terms of building his program, what's killing him is he's not recruiting where he used to be.
Yeah.
Like if he was still recruiting in the top 5 consistently, I'd be a lot more on board with him not taking any portal guys. But it's slipped. It's not like they're awful. They're still well within the top 15, top 20, but there's a dip. Like look at OU, right? OU's in the top 10 and the top 8 and has been recruiting at that level. But they're the 6th team in the SEC. And so, like, you don't have to be great. You have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And especially now, OU is using the way that OU does it, I really like. And a lot of teams are doing it this way, where you build through the recruiting and you supplement your roster to transfer portal. Yeah. That, I think, is the perfect way to do it. It's yet to be seen because no one's truly figured it out yet. Like you said, you got Ole Miss, USC, and teams like that. And then you got Clemson. It just doesn't take anybody. And I think the blend you have to get the blend right. And I think the blend changes from year to year. But I also agree. I think Georgia's probably my favorite to win the national championship this year. It's like Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, maybe Alabama.
You're not going to take Texas like everybody else?
No. Texas has to prove it to me before I'd ever even – Texas could prove it to me, and I still probably wouldn't choose them.
Yeah. Especially
because they're going to lose the game. The second week of October, they will lose. So I shouldn't say that. Now we're fucked. But anyways, it's just one of those things. Like Georgia, I think Georgia is the odds-on favorite, and they're my favorite to win it all. And I think Clemson keeps it close for a bit, but Georgia is just going to run away with the game at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. So, I think I don't know if I'm going to pick Georgia to win it all. We'll get to that like later on. We'll see how the season looks as we go. But yeah, no.
You're not all about making incredibly unreasonable predictions before we've seen a team play yet, dude?
I got to see week 1 first.
Okay.
We had week 0. I need week 1 before I start making unrealistic expectations on teams. Before I start saying that Oklahoma is the best team in the country and we're going to go undefeated.
They already are, dude.
Cruise to the playoffs.
Yeah. There you are. The we're gonna beat the hell out of you chance back. We're not losing, especially not at home. Penn State, West Virginia. Neil Brown and the Mountaineers are taking on Drew Aller. There's another guy like Cade Klubnik and DJU and Will Howard and all these guys that just haven't been able to prove it. But Penn State, they've got Andy Kotelnicki now, and they have a nasty defense still. Is this year you think Penn State takes over the Big Ten?
I think we've been so spoiled with quarterbacks through like our tenure being Oklahoma fans, like with Jason White, Sam Bradford, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, like all these guys that
even
are
Landry Jones. Landry Jones being like 6th on that list is wild.
But we've been so spoiled. It's crazy, like how conditioned we are in terms of watching, like what good quarterback, like excellent quarterback play looks like. Because I recently saw a post on social media, and it was a Penn State fan account, and it was during like one of the training camp practices, and basically the tweet was like, "Have you ever seen a quarterback throw on the run like this?" And it just looked like a pretty standard like throw on the run.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't see anything special about this. But if you're a Penn State fan, you're like, hell yeah, this is
You've never had that.
Yeah, this is different. Like, it just goes to show how spoiled we've been. Like with some of the quarterbacks, like Kyler Murray. And then like Caleb Williams, like his freshman year, it's just like we've seen what it looks like, and then Drew Allard is like their savior, and it just
He'd be
look
like,
great.
if we took all the best Oklahoma quarterbacks of all time, Drew Aller would be like 7th on that list, maybe. Yeah. And I did, yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from. I do the exact same shit. Like even when it comes to the NFL, like being a Packers fan my entire life, I've had nothing but fantastic quarterback play, and still remains to be seen what Jordan Love is going to be consistently, but looks as if it's going to be good. And so like I watch mid-tier quarterbacks and I'm like, how can you get excited over this? Like this dude's just average at best.
Well, again, I'm being a Bears fan. Like I was excited and said that Trubisky was the truth.
Yeah.
And everybody like told me like after like that 2018 season, they were like, "Oh yeah, this guy's gonna be good." And then 2019 happened, and they were like, "Hey man, you need to cut your losses." So like I've been there, but like also been kind of blessed with having quarterbacks that have been phenomenal at OU. But
Yeah.
they got Andy Kotelnicki. They got 2 running backs that should have close to 1,000 yards, if both of them don't have 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have good play there. Their defense is still gonna be awesome. Adisa Isaac, I had no idea he was staying another year. That's a massive like win for Penn State to keep him. So I think Penn State's. It's gonna be you get the same vibes. I mean, it's like imagine like a Dolphins fan, like you know what you're going to get out of the Dolphins. They're going to be a good enough team to win 10 or 11 games, and they're going to get shithoused in the playoffs, and they're playing cold weather. It's the same thing with like Penn State. It's like, yeah, they're going to be awesome, and the whiteout in Happy Valley is going to be sick, and then they got to go play Michigan or Oregon or Ohio State, and then it's going to be like, no, James Franklin can get it done, but he can't.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, pal, but
it's all right. It's all right. It's all right, man. It's all right. Kent State is my new love child. So
yeah,
I'm a Golden Flash now. So
yeah,
it's
I'm
ever since.
Mean Green.
Are you? Are you?
Yeah.
The game has changed in our lives, man. Yeah, so that's kind of the 11 a.m. window. I mean, obviously, there's other games there, like Virginia Tech. I expect big things out of Virginia Tech this year.
Dude, Tennessee plays a powerhouse in Chattanooga.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Tough game.
I don't know that they walk out of that one, dude.
Is Ohio State even going to stand a chance against Akron? That's going to be tough.
I don't think so, man. Yeah. I don't think so. That navy and gold is going to be nasty, dude.
I found out that Akron is in Ohio like yesterday.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Fucking serious? LeBron's from there, dude.
I didn't know.
Oh my fuck, dude.
I was wondering why he was such a Cleveland Browns fan for all of his life in Ohio State.
Like, dude, this guy's such a big fan. He's from like Akron, Georgia. What the fuck is this?
Well, I figured it out. So
okay, well, I'm proud of you. So we got Miami and Florida in the 2:30 window.
That is going to be
Gainesville.
That's going to be like probably my game of the week.
Think so?
I've seen nothing but like Miami and Florida fans just like, I mean, it's like OU Texas week. Like that's always just the crazy, like Red River is always the craziest week. I don't know what it is about this year. Maybe it's just because the expectation of both teams. I don't think Florida fans expect them like to be good because of how absolutely fucking brutal their schedule is. But like,
yeah.
But like, I don't know. This game, it's just been like if you get on X or Twitter, whatever you call it, and you look at like what there's like just the hype around the game, like you would think it's the biggest rivalry in college football. So
yeah,
and it is gonna be a fun game in the swamp.
It's gonna be immaculate. It's gonna be awesome. I love seeing the swamp packed too. Like it's such a crazy environment.
We'll kind of get a look at what Miami's gonna look like with Cam Ward. Because Cam Ward, again, electric. Like he's a super electric quarterback, but then like sometimes his brain would be in a blender.
Yeah,
he had like moments where it was like Derek Carr. Like you watch Derek Carr play, and you're like, he's good, right?
Yeah. Did you see that picture of Derek Carr signing shit at the Saints game, and like no one was coming to him? Like everyone was wanting his signature.
I actually think that the Saints could potentially be good this year. To be honest,
I think so too.
I think Derek Carr is going to have a better year.
What do you think about Miami getting 2.5 against Florida in the swamp?
I think that's just because of the quarterback they got. Highly touted. I mean, he was like the top transfer QB in the portal, like after
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel went to Oregon.
Yeah.
So
It was wild taking it back to what you're talking about Cam Ward, just brain farts, man. Like, it was crazy because Washington State started so fast last year. And everyone was like, all right, they might run this last season in the Pac-12. And then they started, like 4-2, and then they finished the season like 6-6. Like, it was crazy. They're just the fall
they
off.
should have won the, what do they call it, the Apple Cup or whatever
against Washington?
Yeah. They should have won that game. Like Washington, like
Auburn should have beat Alabama. So
that's true. You're right. But they had chances to win the game.
They did.
And that's the kind of the Cam Ward effect. But I think Miami's gonna have a solid team this year. I think the U may be back. Cristobal, Mr. Miami.
They might be. They got some nasty pass rushers, man. Like Ruben Bain is insane, and Damian Martinez is cold too. And their receiving core is not bad. So Mario's done some good things there. I think this is finally. It never felt like it was going to work out in Oregon with him there. I think Miami is the perfect place for him to go really win. So I think you're right, man. You might be back, and another one of those teams. It's just college football is better. It's been a while. It's been a long while. But I think I still had like. I'm not going to finish that sentence. That was going to be really disgusting. I'm not going to say that. Moving on.
You can tell me off.
Yeah. I'll tell you later. I think the next like really, really big showstopper game. I mean, well, we got Michigan and Fresno State. I'm playing. We got
watch out for Fresno State.
Yeah, dude. The Golden Domers and Notre Dame, the Notre Dames, heading into College Field, College Station to take on Texas A&M, man. I think now this is my sneaky game of the week. It's not really even sneaky, like it's prime time on ESPN. I think it'll be the best game that happens.
That's like saying the Texans are your sleeper Super Bowl team.
They are actually my Super Bowl pick. They are actually my pick to lose to the Packers in the Super Bowl this year. But that's neither here nor there. I think Texas A&M wins this. I mean, they're the favorite, and I think they're just getting home field. Notre Dame, I think, is going to be good. I think there's a lot of questions about Riley Leonard, what he can do over the course of a full season. But I think Connor Wigman, man.
Riley Leonard is one of those quarterbacks where it's like, I know he didn't play like big. He played big time games. I mean, that first game against Clemson last year, he looked really good.
Awesome.
There were times where like I watched Riley Leonard. I'm like, he could be like a really, really like a great quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like I feel more confident in Notre Dame now having Riley Leonard than I would Ohio State. Well, Howard, yeah. So I think and plus Marcus Freeman's just a fantastic coach. Like
I love Marcus Freeman.
He's one of the best defensive minds in college football. So I'm going to give Texas A&M the edge because it's at home, but I think this is a game Notre Dame can lose and still be in the hunt. You know what's crazy? You know when they expanded the playoffs and they basically gave like the bye seeds to the conference winners, and it was kind of like Notre Dame kind of got screwed. Yeah. It almost felt like it's like Notre Dame, they really got screwed out of this. They need to join a conference. When you really think about it, this kind of works out perfect for them. Because if they're a really good team, if they're good enough, they get the 5 seed, right? And so if they win that game, they're going to have to go up against the 12 seed, who's probably not going to be a very good team unless
it'll be a group of 5 team.
Yeah, it'll more than likely be a group of 5 team. They win that game. They play the 4 seed. The 4 seed is going to be a Big 12 team, which I think their roster and like their football team is going to be better than whoever wins the Big 12, whether it's Oklahoma State, Kansas State, or Utah. Yeah, I think this kind of works out really good for Notre Dame.
It does. Outside of them having to play an extra game, it's going to be a home game. Yeah. But if things work out and they're the best team outside of the top 4, I think you're completely right. And it's crazy. Not a whole lot of people have said this. I haven't even really thought this. I don't know why, but it's really wild to think about. Like, if they get the 5 seed, they almost sneak into a semifinal game.
Yeah. No, and I think they'd be good enough to is if Riley Leonard plays well. The defense is going to be good. Marcus Freeman's a great coach, so. But I don't know. We'll see how Texas A&M looks with Mike Elko. Again, I'm probably with you on Texas A&M winning the game just because of their roster and it's in College Station, the fucking cult, weird fucking program. But they'll probably have some weird, cult make Notre Dame players drink the Kool-Aid.
Probably. That's probably exactly what's going to happen. Actually, the more I think about it.
But
going on there.
I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I don't like Notre Dame. Obviously, they'll play like a champion that they took from Oklahoma. I don't really care anymore, but that's still like it lingers. But I do like Marcus Freeman. I think he's a great coach, and I think he's going to have the team good to go for this season.
I think so too. I think, and as much as I don't like Notre Dame, fucking navy and gold, such a clean colorway.
It just like it. I know. That's why I hate it, because it's like you see them in the playoffs, like that gold helmet's just that you want to see them in the playoffs because of that. Just
or even like I like navy
tradition.
and silver together, but I can't fucking wear it because I hate Dallas. So
yeah. How can you even could you even, like, you're a 5-star recruit, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're a 5-star recruit. Like, would you consider Notre Dame?
I mean, if I'm putting everything aside and I'm just looking at them as a program, obviously yes, because it's one of the blue bloods of college football. But if I'm a 5-star, I don't know that I want to go to like Notre Dame. Like, if I have my pick of anywhere, and I'm not picking OU just because I'm an OU fucking fanboy, like it's probably Georgia right now.
Yeah.
Or Ohio State, or even Oregon. Like, those are probably the top 3 on the list. I don't like Brian Kelly, but if they had a better coach, maybe LSU.
Dude, LSU would be tight. I'd go there. I wouldn't even care that's Brian Kelly. It'd be like, you stay the fuck out of my way and just let me party. I don't really feel like going to class either.
You don't have to.
Yeah. Just here to party and play football.
Oh, exactly.
What are the
Speaking of LSU,
yeah.
Sunday, we got the game that Lincoln Riley tried to get out of, USC and LSU. LSU's favored by 4 in Allegiant Stadium. It's the Vegas kickoff, the Modelo. Shout out Modelo. Vegas kickoff classic. We got Miller Moss's first start.
I will say this would have been sick if the NFL started, like if week 1 started this Sunday, like to have that LSU game and then that Sunday night football game.
Yeah, that'd be fucking insane. But so we got Miller Moss's first start. We got, Grant Nussmeier? His first start with LSU. Well, at least as a starter, full-time starter at LSU. LSU's got a lot of questions on defense. Obviously, they were awful last year, especially in the secondary. They've rehauled their entire defensive coaching staff and their entire defensive roster. A lot of transfers, though. USC's kind of in the same boat. Both got new quarterbacks, both horrendous on defense last year, both new defensive coordinators and new defensive staffs, trying to get it turned around. Now, I think LSU did.
Both lost the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, with 1 and 2 in the draft. I think LSU did a better job of retooling their roster. I don't think Lincoln Riley's all that in the bag of chips. I don't think anybody else really thinks that anymore either. I would think LSU kind of walks away with this one. By the way, before you say anything, fucking insanely awesome helmet matchup.
Yeah, good uniform matchup in my opinion.
Yeah, the just the Trojan helmet and the yellow tiger helmet, dude. It's gonna be insane just to see those 2 out there. But continue.
I'm really nervous that USC is gonna be good. But I think it does probably make college football more fun if they are good. Like, looking past, like, obviously how you feel about Lincoln Riley, but like if they're good with Miller Moss, that kind of makes me feel scared about Chicago's situation, because Caleb Williams is the truth and he's fucking awesome, and I think the Bears are gonna be really good. But like, what if Miller Moss is like just awesome? What if he wins the Heisman?
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. I know. Like, there's no. I mean, I know it's apples to oranges. It's like there shouldn't be a correlation. How Caleb is going to do for the Bears. In regards to how Miller Moss is going to look in Lincoln Riley's offense, but it does kind of linger in the back of my head. Like, Like, what if it was Lincoln Riley that just like his offense was so good at put the pieces together and he was able to get the most out of his talent, and Chicago can't. I don't know. That we'll worry about that later. I'm excited.
In my opinion, though, I don't think Lincoln Riley can develop quarterbacks, more so that his system is finely tooled for quarterbacks to succeed.
Which means he develops quarterbacks, basically.
Now, there's a difference between development and having a quarterback-friendly system.
Well, yeah, you should have a quarterback-friendly system.
Well, yes, you should, but just because you have a super friendly system for a quarterback doesn't mean you're truly developing them into being a talented player at the next level.
I think he does develop quarterbacks just because you look at his like track record and what he's been able to do, and you look at the roster that USC had on offense last year, and how
atrocious.
And the receiver core probably wasn't as good, even though they had some guys like Dorian Singer that they were really high on, and Brennan Rice and all them. But
Zachariah Branch.
Yeah, Zachariah Branch is going to be
fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah,
but they never really got to utilize him as much on offense as they probably should have. But like, I think he develops quarterbacks. I think that's like his main goal is just developing quarterbacks. That's kind of what he's known for now.
Well, yeah, but my thought process on that is you don't see the quarterbacks get better. You kind of just see them do the same thing for 2 to 3 years and succeed within his offense, but you don't see them take those leaps in terms of like ability.
There's really not much to look at whenever they're succeeding year one in his system.
That's fair.
So.
That's fair.
I get where you're coming from, but like, I don't know. I think he's a very good offensive mind. We're going to have to see what the defense looks like now that Alex Grinch is gone. And
I think he fits perfectly in the NFL. I think if he fucks off the NFL, he'll do a lot better than he ever would in college. But
because, yeah, I mean, that's what the NFL is now. Hey, do you have the best quarterback? Boom. Successful. It's crazy how much has changed. And college football still, even though a lot's changed, it's still kind of a lot of the same. You just need an elite roster, which you do need one in the NFL too, but anyway, we're getting way off track. I think LSU wins the game. I don't know how I feel about what they're going to look like without Jaden Daniels. But Nussmeier, I mean, he looked okay in the Wisconsin game, in that bowl game. But it's kind of hard to replace 3 first-round offensive talent, you know?
Yeah, and
if their defense
1,200-plus yard receivers.
Yeah, and if the defense isn't going to be any better, then it's gonna look rough for them.
If they lose to USC, I feel immensely better about that
game
Week 13 game in
Death Valley. Yeah. We'll see. Maybe they peak at the right time. Let's hope not.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they peak early and fade late. So I really don't want to finish the regular season with a loss in Death Valley. That would suck. Last game of week 1, Monday, Labor Day, got Boston College taking on the down but not out Trojans. Or Seminoles. Seminoles.
This should be a red bandana game. I don't like that. I don't like that it's on the second. It needs to be closer to week 2 or week 2. Yeah, it needs to be a red bandana game.
It does.
That's really the only thought I have on it.
I do think Florida State probably wins.
Yeah.
Boston College, after losing Zach Heffley as their head coach, him moving on to be the DC at Green Bay, and they're retooling a whole lot of things. They have talent on the team. I just don't know that it's enough to really stack up to Florida State. So, so that was week 1, week 0 and week 1 for college football. Really just excited that it's back, man. It's been a long time coming since January 9th or whatever day it was. Just been waiting for this day. Just been waiting for Friday. So moving on, we have had the first or the end of the preseason for the NFL. We're officially through the preseason, and we got cut day was today. We get this weekend off, and then next week, September 5th, Ravens Chiefs to kick off the season on Thursday Night Football. And then we got Red Zone on Sunday.
God, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fucking fantastic.
Football's back.
It's finally back. Yep. What were overall thoughts on the Bears preseason?
They looked really fucking good, and that scares me because when the Bears have been good in the preseason, it hasn't really correlated well to the regular season.
Yeah.
But this is different. No, I'm serious. This is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, this overreaction. I think we're gonna win 12 games.
You win the division, you think?
I think so. I think they've built the roster up. Defense is already. It's going to be better. You got guys that were drafted in Ryan Pohl's first year. They're going to be third year in the system. It's going to look really good on defense, as it should. As long as the defensive line has progressed, then it should look good. Caleb Williams going to be a stud. The offense is going to be really good. They're going to win the division. I think so.
Okay. Obviously, I disagree. I think there's a much better team in Green Bay, Wisconsin that'll win the division.
Are they a better team, though?
I think they're certainly a better team.
Who do they beat? Who did they beat at the end of the season? They beat, okay, they did beat the Lions in Thanksgiving. That was probably the only good team they beat.
They beat the Chiefs.
They did beat the Chiefs. Their offense was atrocious. Matt Nagy had cursed all over that.
You just trying to hurt me?
Well, I'm just trying to be, make sure that you're kind of seeing things through, a glass lens.
Let's look at. I do have glass lenses on. Let's look at their last.
Start from the Thanksgiving game.
Thanksgiving.
They did beat the Lions. That was a good win.
They beat the Lions. They beat the Chiefs.
Chiefs were atrocious at the time.
They lost to New York. The Giants. Yep. Bullshit. They lost to Baker and the Bucks.
As they should.
And then they beat Carolina. They beat Minnesota. They beat Chicago. And then
hold on. Let's go back. Carolina, worst team in the NFL.
They beat them 33-30.
Yeah.
On Christmas Day. Yeah, it's a holiday. Sometimes things happen, man.
Then they beat the Vikings, who were on their third string quarterback.
They were, but they dusted them.
Third string quarterback.
And then they beat. Look at that, the Bears.
Yeah, we were terrible.
Into the season. We were terrible. The Bears went 7-9.
Yeah, we were bad.
That's a decent football team. You were peaking. You had a good defense. They were playing well.
Defense can't do it all.
And then they went and beat Dallas.
Shocking.
And
Dallas losing in the wild card to the Packers at home. When does that happen?
Crazy. Never. It's never happened actually once. And here's another thing that shockingly shouldn't happen or doesn't really happen. They then had a close loss to the Niners in the wild card or the divisional round. It also doesn't happen. That's rare. So, Look, here's my thing. The Packers are the youngest roster in the NFL. They picked things up and peaked at the perfect time last year, and they've only gotten better. They brought in a new defensive coordinator that is really ramping things up. They're going to be a lot more aggressive. They're going to bring a lot more pressure. They're going to play what I would think a lot better defense. Getting year 2 of full Jordan Love. They have Josh Jacobs, who's an upgrade over Aaron Jones. Love you, Jonesy.
Is it, though?
It is.
Aaron Jones is kind of a stud.
Aaron Jones is a stud, but he can't stay healthy. And Josh Jacobs has been nothing but consistent and healthy. That's like Brent Venable says, your best ability is availability. All right?
That's fair.
They have a plethora of receivers that are all going into their second and third and fourth seasons that are talented guys. They just don't have a number one guy. Dontavian Wicks, one of the better route runners in the NFL. Romeo Doubs catches everything. Christian Watson, if he doesn't rip his hamstring in half, cannot run anybody. And Jaden Reed is everything.
I like Jaden Reed a lot.
Jaden Reed's fantastic. Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, year 2 at tight end. Offensive line has gotten a lot better.
Are you saying that because you actually believe it, or you just hope so?
No, don't test me. All right, don't ask me those tough questions. Okay. No, I think they have gotten better. I think they're going to figure out left tackle. They're done waiting on David Bakhtiari to be healthy, and they officially moved on at left tackle. Zach Tom, I think, is going to be a stud at right. They need to figure center out. Jordan Morgan's going to come in and play guard, and then they're going to try to figure out left guard, or right guard. But I think they'll figure out someone good there. You can hide a guard. Defensive line: Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt going into year 2 or year 3.
Okay, you made your point.
Yeah, come on now. They're good, dude. They're going to be a lot better than you think, and they're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
We'll see. I still like the Bears' chances.
Since the 90s, the Packers have won a Super Bowl every 14 years, and it's year 14. So numbers never lie.
We'll see.
With that being said, I do think the Packers had a fun preseason. Scoring 2 points against Denver did make me want to rip my fucking hair out, no matter if this is a preseason or not.
How about Bo Nix?
Bo Nix.
This is the year. Bo Nix has been in the system.
Yeah. I do think, though, that it was a step up. I think the defense showed a lot, even though it was mostly backups. I think they showed an ability to be aggressive and really take the ball away. But I do expect big things out of Green Bay this year. I think the division ends Packers on top, Detroit second, Chicago third, Minnesota scraping. Minnesota might be one of the worst teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
With JJ going down, they might be one of the worst teams in the NFC.
Yeah, the Vikings have had it rough, man.
Yeah,
I kind of feel bad for the Vikings fans.
I do feel bad for the Vikings. It's tough. That's a tough titty, said the kitty with no milk. It's just.
So I guess we should talk about it because we did. I watched the Cowboys Chargers preseason game. They're gonna pay Dak Prescott now, right? Yeah.
No, they can throw Trey Lance out there. They'll be fine, dude.
In a way, I do kind of feel bad for Trey Lance because he wasn't asked to be picked number 3 overall. Like he had one season. You know how we feel about quarterbacks only play one season in college unless you're Kyler Murray, which is like an anomaly. You know, like to be a successful quarterback, like I feel you and I agree, you have to play at least 2 years.
You need reps. Yeah. You need time.
But then he doesn't really get the chance in San Francisco because he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And then now he's with the Cowboys and didn't look great. Wasn't like terrible. I mean, he threw some picks. Tony Jefferson.
Tony Jefferson. Still doing it, dude.
Good to see him back. But in a way, I do kind of feel bad for Trey Lance. Because it's kind of the same thing with like Trubisky, where it's like Trubisky had one season and then the Bears were like, hey, we could have Patrick Mahomes, but we're going to take Mitchell Trubisky instead.
Yeah.
And didn't really get a, I mean, he got a fair shot to shine, but, it just was never going to work. That's kind of where I'm at with Trey Lance right now. So the Cowboys have a decision to make because they just paid a massive bag to CeeDee Lamb. There's also talks going around that Chicago's trying to go for Micah Parsons. I'm going to get my hopes up and say I would love to have Micah Parsons, and I think it's going to happen.
I think everyone would love to have Micah Parsons. That is not going to happen. Jerry Jones would give up his last nut to hold on to Micah Parsons. If there's anything Jerry Jones
he's gonna have a big decision to make with Dak Prescott, and if Tyler Guyton ends up being one of the best,
what he looks like,
he's looked fantastic.
Way
better than he did in OU uniform.
So. Oh yeah, you know who else has looked good? Going back to the Vikings, Walter Rouse has looked really good in Minnesota. Yeah. Anyways, I think you have to pay Dak, but.
You had to pay CD. That made sense.
Had to pay CD. Yeah, it had to pay CD. Got to pay Dak, and then they're gonna have to pay Micah Parsons. I mean, they can't not do it. They can't afford to let him walk, even if they trade him. They can't afford to let that happen.
Dude, the Cowboys are worth $10 billion. They can afford to pay him, but I hope that they don't, and then maybe Micah Parsons could be on the market.
I bet. By the way, Walter Rouse made the final 53, Minnesota.
Yeah, good player.
Very good player. Robert Tonyan getting cut from yet another NFC North team. Wild.
Shocker.
Who'd have thunk it? Anyways. What are we talking about?
The Cowboys.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I've got lots of.
You can't talk about sports if you don't talk about the Cowboys, right?
You got to talk about the Cowboys, man.
It's like the Cowboys and LeBron. Those are like the two things you have to talk about.
Did you see the Jerry Jones quote about no one else being able to be a GM, or could no one step into his role or step into his shoes and be a better GM than him? Whatever you said.
I don't know, man. He grinds tape.
He does grind tape.
he grinds tape, and instead of taking that star pass rusher, sometimes he'll look at the third round offensive lineman from Arkansas.
He grinds tape, and then he fucking grinds up his Pediasure.
His players have been. I mean, the guys he's drafted, they've turned.
He's hit
studs. Yeah,
he is hit. That's what pisses me off. He continues to hit. He also takes a lot of Sooners though, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
he loves them some Norman boys. He loves them some Stoops boys, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Sooner boys, Creed Humphrey got paid the bag too.
Creed Humphrey did get paid the bag. You're gonna be able to buy lots of beer.
Yep.
Lots of natty lights for old Creed.
Mm-hmm. And Pat, Chiefs are probably gonna win another Super Bowl. That's fine. Why do we even make predictions?
Yeah, there's no sense in doing it now. The Rams definitely are going to do it. They cut Drake Stoops today, so there goes their fucking season.
Yeah, done for.
Dumbasses. Oh my God, ever do something so stupid. Damn, Braden Willis got cut too. Sorry, I'm looking at the cuts here. It's just.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and go over the notable cuts. Let's go over some of the notable roster cuts.
So you want to know the first big one?
Start in order. Go from like alphabetical order by team. I want to know who Chicago cut. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it.
So it doesn't give me alphabetical order. It starts in the NFC East.
Okay.
So the NFC East. All right. So Dallas. Nothing really stands out in Dallas in terms of people being cut. The Giants. They do hold on to Tommy DeVito. They do keep him. They cut Allen Robinson, which kind of expected at his age, but
yeah, I think
his name. Oren Burks being cut from yet another team. Who'd have thunk it? Caden Stearns cut by the Eagles as well. Paris Campbell. He's probably getting close to being done. Will Greer. Who the Commanders cut? Martavis Bryant.
Wow.
He's still fucking bouncing around? Okay.
Yeah, no, he just came back to. Why did they cut him? They just signed him like before the preseason started.
Oh man,
he was the Steeler.
Yeah, when he's the one that kept getting in trouble for smoking weed, him and fucking it was him and Josh Gordon. It seemed like every fucking season.
Yeah.
They just kept getting caught doing the same shit. Sam Hartman, Trace McSorley. Not Trace, man. Really no one big there. Okay, so Bears cuts. These guys were already shit anyways. Kari Blasingame was cut.
Oh. We need a fullback.
Wendell Johnson. Colin Johnson did make the team.
Damn.
Tarvarius Moore. Austin Reed and Brett Rippon.
Hall of Fame games.
Yeah.
Go ahead and build him a statue.
Velus Jones made the roster.
He's going to probably be a running back.
Greg Stroman Jr., Javen White, Reddy Stewart, Paul Miola, Tarvarius Moore, Cam Lyons. No one too crazy. Hendon Hooker is the primary backup in Detroit. I like Hendon Hooker, man. I've always been high on Hendon Hooker ever since before he even went to Tennessee.
Well, you think they're gonna is he gonna take over for Goff when Goff's done?
That would be,
or is he like too old?
That'd be
now?
Great. I don't think he's gonna be too old because he's gonna be on like a second backup contract, kind of like a prove it deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. The Packers fucking cut Anders Carlson today. Sean Clifford didn't make the team. Grant DuBose, that one hurts. Anthony Johnson Jr. didn't make the team. That one kind of hurts. Royce Newman, go to hell. Kalen King didn't make the team. Michael Pratt. Because the Packers traded for the Packers traded from Malik Willis.
Yeah.
So pending a physical, Michael Pratt, I'm almost will guarantee Michael Pratt's a practice squad guy. Samori Toure didn't make the team. That hurts. Reggie Wayne's younger cousin, Jalen Wayne, didn't make the team. Christian Welch had a hell of a preseason, especially forcing turnovers. Joel Wilson and Christian Young. Let's see. No one big there. No one big in Atlanta. The Chiefs cut today. Kadarius Toney today.
Yep, that's the big one.
That's really the biggest one. I think that's really, I would think, would be the biggest one. They cut some other kind of big name dudes too. Let me pull them up.
Dude, they would. You can't count the Chiefs' second Super Bowl Patrick Mahomes if you don't count Kadarius Toney.
Can't, man.
Legend.
His fall off's been crazy. Irv Smith Jr. Well, he can't catch the fucking ball. That's his fucking problem. But Irv Smith Jr. also cut by the Chiefs. Yeah, cut day is tough, but wait. Hold on. Sorry, this is really bad podcasting. Don't do it. Don't do it to me.
What?
Delayed internal yields on the physically unable to perform. I'm looking to the running backs. Fuck!
What happened?
Samaje Perine didn't make the team.
Oh.
Oh, bitch.
That's always sad that like it never just ended up working out for him because he's like shown that he could be a stud, but
Did it in Cincy.
didn't have a very good preseason for the Broncos. So
They also are loaded at at running back.
yeah,
Like between McLaughlin, Javonte Williams, and all those other guys, they're pretty loaded. That sucks. Damn it. I knew it was coming. I just didn't want to see it.
yeah.
Oh, man. Nathan Peterman didn't make the Raiders?
Wow,
I
shocking.
wonder why.
Raiders season's down the drain now.
Yeah, dude. And I'm going to throw 12 picks in 2 weeks. That's crazy. Damn, Donald Parham got cut by the Chargers and Shaq Quarterman.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyways, cut day is always tough. It's tough to see these dudes that have been obviously fighting for their jobs not make it. Now, a lot of these guys will obviously be brought back on practice squad. I fully expect players like Drake Stoops to be a practice squad guy, even if it's not with the Rams. He'll be on someone's practice squad somewhere. I know the Packers. It's a 16-man practice squad. You can keep veterans now. You don't just have to keep super young guys. So I think a lot of these guys, it's not over for them. It's going to be big, but
it's always the UFL.
There's always what no one watches in the spring, even though we wanted more football. Yeah, man. It's been a fun preseason. It's kind of like week 0 in college football. You get that little taste of it, and then it really ramps back up. This week is kind of the start to everything. Now that week 1 of college football is here, you get to wake up on Saturday morning and
get to watch
drink Pat McAfee. Yeah, I get to watch on Friday night. Leaving work just a little bit early on Friday so I can get home and get boozed up for the game starts. Yeah, man, I'm stoked. I can't wait. Obviously, I think the Packers are going to be Super Bowl champions this year. You think the Bears will win 12 games and win the division, which isn't happening. But at the end of the day, it's the Chiefs league, and everyone's just got to take it from them. So
at the end of the day, football's back.
At the end of the day, football is back. Drinking never left.
Well, drinking while watching football
is back.
It's the best.
Live football. Mm-hmm. I watched a lot of highlights while drunk this year.
Yes, me too.
So
too many.
Yeah, very excited.
And so now it's back. New season.
Yes.
Very excited. It's the best time of the year.
Yes.
I like watching other sports too, but football is king for a reason. Let's enjoy it.
Are you? I don't know if I've ever asked you this. There's always a lot of talk, especially where I'm from. And you're roughly from the same area where we don't have a big NFL team or an NFL team directly in our area. It's a few hours away. So everyone always says, "Oh, well, college football is better," right? I think personally, college football is a better, more entertaining product, but obviously NFL is a much better football product. Would you agree?
I guess it kind of what do you mean by that?
You get better, more technical football, obviously watching the NFL because it's a higher degree, but I think you get a more enjoyable product watching college football. With the tradition.
Yeah, because there's just I think I enjoy college football a lot more. It's not going to be very long until if the NFL, the new NFL kickoff succeeds, I think college football is going to end up going to that kickoff rule.
Yeah.
They just need to change that. The punting rule, the punt rule is just really stupid for college football, so that needs to change. But there's just I don't know. I enjoy college football more, and I don't really think that the NFL is like a better football product. I think like they both like I like that college football is a little different, like with the like some of the stuff that like some of the rules that they have, but like the intensity in some of the games, like with the playoffs and stuff, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think college football is better.
Do you
As
think football's better as a TV product or in person? I've been seeing a lot of debate on that.
I you go to the games for like the atmosphere, but if you actually want to enjoy the game, you probably want to watch on TV.
Okay, I'm in the exact same boat there, especially if it's college. If you're going to a game for an atmosphere, you want to go to a college football game. But if you want to watch and actually digest the football that's happening, you want to watch it at home on TV.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would much rather watch from the comfort of my couch, unless it's like I want to go enjoy the atmosphere of like a game. Then
like I'm going to OU Tennessee this year. OU's first SEC game, like that's going to be insane.
You have to go to that one.
You have to, but I'd obviously much rather watch the actual game from home. I mean, I'm going to record it and come home and watch it the same day anyway, so I can see everything.
Is there going to be a college game day game?
I don't think so.
We'll see. We'll circle back to it when that time comes. But anyway, we're kind of like way over time, so
we are way over time. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. This has been the Pigskin Podcast, episode 2, season 2. Name might be changing, by the way. So if you see a different name on there, it's still your boys. All right, still the same 2 idiots. But so just we'll keep you guys posted. And thanks for watching. Enjoy football being back. College football's back. We'll get another episode or 2 back before we get the full kickoff to the NFL season. So, like I said, enjoy, and we'll see you guys later.